Hello and welcome to another episode of Unstuck Transformation with Edge with Hypnopunk, and today's episode is entitled Are You Original? And is certain to ruffle some feathers of some people out there. Some of the marks out there will be castrated live on today's show. So stay tuned. But before we get into that, I'd like to thank all of you that have left your 5-star reviews on iTunes or Google Play or wherever you listen to this podcast. It makes me happy. It gives me feels. It makes me smile because I put these podcasts and all my content, my video on my YouTube channel and my blog posts out there for you for free to help you to transform your life, to become unstuck in the world, unstuck in your environment, unstuck in your mind. And all I ask is if you enjoy the material I put out there, and why wouldn't you, then cheeky smile, then why wouldn't you like it, share it and comment on it, because that would absolutely make my day. And pass on the good message, pass on the good words to the other good brothers and sisters out there. And it makes me want to put out more content out there for you and do it for free once you subscribe to it. So please do that. And also to sweeten the deal, if you do that, you enjoy the podcast, and please take a screenshot of where you left a review and then shoot me an email with a screenshot at mail, M-A-I-L, at Hypnosis, Lukeenosis.com, and we will book a complimentary 30-minute unstuck telephone session or Skype session with myself, where we help you become unstuck in a certain area of your life. Please bear in mind, this is not a therapy session. I am not going to fix you. This is not a hypnosis session. I do not want to hear you bitch and complain about your life. It's simply about us discussing and strategizing, even if I can get that out. It's late here. Something that's keeping you stuck in your life, and how we can help you to get unstuck, get to the next level and transcend and get to freedom. Now on with the show. So being a change worker, an NLPer, a hypnotist and EFT and all that good stuff, having studied for all these disciplines over a good 20 years or so right now, you know, one thing that I've noticed is nothing is new. Nothing is original. And I know there's some marks out there that will be like, oh, I created the rapid induction, or I created this amazing new EFT model, or this great language pattern. You didn't create shit. Let's look at the history of what we study. Hypnosis, for example, one of the big modalities that I use in helping people change. Now, in the 60s, in the 70s, two people came along called Richard Bandler and John Grindler, and they wanted to take hypnosis into the corporate world, and they realized they couldn't necessarily go into corporate America and tell them, hey, close your eyes and see this and change this picture and do that, because it would just freak people out. So what they did is they disguised hypnosis, and they fused a couple other forms of therapy that they didn't create, and they called it NLP, which is essentially covert hypnosis, or hypnosis with your eyes open, that you can do in a corporation, that you can do with Fortune 500 companies, and they don't look at you as if you are talking about rainbows and unicorns and eating huge bowls of granola. That's one of the main reasons NLP was put together. Yes, they fused a little bit of Fritz Perls therapy in there, and they fused some family therapy with Virginia satire, but they did not create anything. Nothing. It was just a sneaky way to go into the corporate world in order to teach this. And God bless them that they did it. They did a great job. Did they create anything new? No. They didn't create anything new at all. They created a system that decoded a lot of hypnosis techniques and so forth, but there was nothing new that was presented there. Now, in the world of personal change, you'd think that everyone would be amazing and certainly well developed and would have a sense of humor about themselves. But unfortunately, it's been my experience that not everyone, certainly not everyone, there are a lot of good people in this world, a lot of good people in the personal transformation, but there are also a lot of fucking marks who They believe their own press. They believe they created the rapid induction, or they believe they created some form of EFT or eye movement desensitization therapy, and instead of using a finger, I used a pen with a light on it. There's a lot of people that think they recreated something. You didn't recreate shit. All these techniques have been out there for years and years and years. None of us created shit. Not me, not you, not Richard Bandler, not John Grindler, and probably not even Milton Erickson. He talked to people in metaphors to help them change. I'm sure if you look back, there were other people, shaman and communities out there that were helping people through stories to transform in their life. A big fan of Milton Erickson and the stuff that he did, but most of the people that actually did create this stuff many years ago will probably never find, because they don't have the ego talking about having to, that they've created this, that or the other, that there's this scarcity mindset that, oh my god, I developed this new technique to deal with pain. You didn't create shit. What you did is you looked at NLP, you took some parts therapy, you put a tiny twist on it, and you rebranded it as something else. That's all you did, and good for you. Good for you that you did this. I appreciate it. I appreciate your work, but you didn't invent shit. So many marks out there. What is a mark? You hear me keep saying that. A mark is a term from professional wrestling to call a fan. But really, when you take the title mark and you go back, it goes back to the carny days, where in a carnival, somebody would come through the carnival, and all the workers, they would see that this person, they put a mark on the back of them. Basically, they're easy prey. That's an easy person to con. So they actually draw a mark on the back of the person that only the other vendors would see, and they realize, that's a person we should pick out of the crowd because they are gullible, because they are a mark, because we can con them out of their own money, because they don't logically think about these things. There are so many marks in the personal transformation world. You didn't create shit. And I made a video last year and it got a lot of controversy and people trying to disparage me and try and bully me online. None of them had the guts to say anything to my face, and there was at all these conferences, not one of them came up to my face to say anything. But online, everybody is brave. Everybody is brave. So if you do have anything to say after this podcast, please call me out and we can meet up face to face. We don't have to do it over Facebook and launch and have our dirty laundry in public. I'm happy to meet any of you face to face because I don't need to hide behind a Facebook or a podcast. I'll meet any of you anytime that you want if you want to discuss this. But there are so many bullies, there are so many marks in this industry that they just basically need to be called out. Our techniques are not new, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, you had a little light here, you had an extra tap here, you had one word to an affirmation here. That's not original. You've taken something and you've put an extra period at the end of it. You didn't create anything new. Neither did I. Neither did I. But I'll come out there and admit it. The only thing that I bring to anything that's new, the only thing that any of you bring to anything that's new, whether you want to admit to it or not, whether you want to pull your head out of your own arse out there, the other change workers out there, is style. I bring a style to what I do. Not one technique did I sit down in a cave where I was completely out of the matrix and had no interaction with the internet, with other change workers, with other people, and this idea came to me and it's like, this is my amazing new idea. No, I didn't. I wasn't born in a tube. I wasn't born in a vacuum. I didn't live my life in a vacuum. I had lots of people influence me. But the only thing that's remotely original about what I do is my style, is how I filter the techniques that I use. By generalizing, deleting, distorting. Hey, didn't create that either. That's neuro-linguistic programming that they probably took from hypnosis in some form or fashion. That probably came from somewhere else. That's the only thing that I bring in different. And I go to a lot of these conferences and people put these hypnotic change workers on pedestals and they drink the Kool-Aid. They're like, if I just learn this new technique, I will be as amazing as insert the hypnotist chain worker name here. No, you won't. Because what you're doing is you're using their technique, but you're not developing a style for yourself. A style is what I developed for myself. I didn't create any of these techniques. As Bruce Lee said, I absorbed what worked for me, what worked for my client, and I disregarded the stuff that didn't work. And trust me, there was a hell of a lot of stuff that didn't work. I was told in a class, oh, this works all of the time, 100% of the time, with every single person. And when I tested it in the real world, it didn't work, and I was embarrassed I thought it was me. I thought I'm the only person who the NLP breakthrough session system didn't work. And then the more I talked with people, the more I realized actually it didn't work for a lot of people out there, and for some people it will work. So folks, if you're listening to this, if you're involved in the transformation community, it's great to accumulate a lot of these skills, but none of these people invented their skills. They have this scarcity mindset that there's this piece of pie, and even if you do a training with them and you pay their money, if you go out there and you use their magical golden technique that they didn't really create anyways, then you're taking away a piece of the pie from them, because they live in a scarcity world. I put all my stuff out there for free. These podcasts, these videos, the blogs that I write, I put them out there for free. Use it, steal it. I really don't give a fuck, because I realize I didn't create any of it anyways. I put a little twist in it, and it went through my filters, as I said earlier. So don't think about you have to do another course out there, guys. You have to buy another book. You have to pay another change worker to be great. Develop your style. Use what works. Disregard what does not work. Bruce Lee said that best. Do not be a mark. If you're a hypnosis trainer, a change worker out there, you didn't create shit. I'm telling you that. And your ego may be so completely up your ass that you think you did, and I'm telling you didn't create it. And if you want to have a conversation with me, don't do it over Facebook. Don't do it over some kind of social media. If you've got anything to say, then I'm sure we'll probably be in the same part of town at some point, probably in Las Vegas at some time. Come and say it to my face, and say it in a way that I will understand it, and show me that you created something from scratch, completely original. Show me, prove it. You won't ever be able to do it, and most of you will just hide behind your internet saying things from the comfortability of your own home, where you're all brave, but in person you don't say boo to a ghost. So I'm calling you out. If you're out there, listen to it, and we'll meet up, and you can say anything you want to say to my face, because I have no fear of any of you out there. Styles. Develop your style, ladies and gentlemen. Use technique, sure, but develop your style. The success I have with a lot of my clients, I have a gazillion and one techniques. Some that I've paid thousands and thousands of dollars to people to learn, and they weren't that spectacular after I learned them. Some that I actually just make up on the spot, and they still work. But the one thread that runs through them all, and the success that I have with my clients in my career, is the style, is the vessel that I use from the seven dignities, to quote Matt Hardy, to impart this knowledge, this training, this understanding into people. That's the only thing that I bring to anything. And it's the only thing you truly bring to everything or anything is your style. It's a little bit of everything, because you didn't create any system. You ever heard a story, folks, of someone thinks they wrote a completely original song, and then they release it, and then someone like Led Zeppelin or the Rolling Stones sue the person, and they're like, actually, we created that riff to that song 50 years ago, you stole it. Now, whether the person who covered that song or released it later knew that they stole it, or they just heard it in the background on the radio one day and it was there in their unconscious, and then years later, as they were riffing off creating a new song, it came up. Who knows who's being honest here? But the fact of the matter is, you didn't create anything. All you've got is your style. And please make no mistake about it, by developing your style will give you all the power you need to be a great change worker out there. There's these hypnotists who seem to believe that they created rapid or instant induction, that no one else was doing it. Motherfucker, preachers been doing it for years and years and years in the South, dropping people to the ground way before there were stage hypnosis shows. You didn't create shit. So get your head out of your own arse, stop being a mark, develop a style. Stop being scared. Realize there's lots of people that need help, that want help out there. There doesn't just have to be one change worker. I was at a expo this past weekend, and there was another hypnotist there. And he came up to me on the first day and he was a bit upset. And he was like, oh, I can't believe they booked us both here and we're both hypnotists. I'm like, dude, we're doing different things. You're doing your stage comedy shows, good for you. And I'm doing more a therapeutic approach and an educational or infotainment approach, if you will. They're two different things. And even if we were both doing stage hypnosis or both doing therapy, there are tons of people in our city that need our help. It doesn't bother me if there was 10 hypnotists there, 20 change workers. They're not me, I'm not them. There is no fear of competition. We do something different. My ego's not so tiny that I'm like, oh my god, someone's going to do the technique that I didn't really create, but I've told everyone and deluded myself that I created, and maybe they'll do it better and faster than me, and then I'll be exposed that I'm an old fraud. You didn't create shit. Stop being a mark. All we've got is style. None of us create anything. And yeah, you can argue, oh, you know, I've got this amazing new adduction that I put this word here, or I put that word there, or instead of turning my finger to the left in eye movement desensitization therapy, I go to the left, or instead of saying at the end, I say in the middle, or I combine that with some breathing exercises. You didn't create shit. You're using what worked, you're disregarding what didn't. It's what intelligent people do, and it's what Bruce Lee was talking about in the 1960s when he developed JKD, Jeet Kune Do. Jeet Kune Do wasn't a new martial art. Bruce Lee did karate. He did Western boxing. He did wrestling. He even did tap dancing and many, many other things. And he would use the best from all of these systems that would work for him in a combat situation, and he disregarded what did not work, and he developed Jeet Kune Do, JKD. Bruce Lee's been talking about it from the 60s. So stop being a fucking mark, realize you did not create anything, that all you've got is your style. Now, I know you might live in this scarcity mindset of, oh my god, well, if someone else does this technique and they'll use the technique and they'll make more money than me and get more famous, who the fuck cares? We're out there to help people, okay? So whether we do the falling behind induction, whether we do eye movement desensitization therapy with a light, with a pen, with a finger, whether we do EFT, TFT, or some other form of tapping modality, whether we do hypnosis, whether we do NLP, whether we do traditional regression, whether we do timeline therapy, we're helping someone. Just be the best that you can be. If you can add twists to stuff, great. But realize that you ain't gonna create anything new. Okay, you might make things a little bit better. You may simplify things a little bit, which are easier for people to use to get change, but you didn't create shit. So stop being a little mark, stop being a little bitch, stop whining and complaining and crying over your Facebook or crying over your Twitter, or getting your band of trolls to attack me or to attack someone else just because you don't like them and you feel a little intimidated, so you want to send these little anonymous emails to people to try and get them banned from different expos or different conferences. It doesn't work. I'm more successful now than I've ever been, making more money than I ever have in this field. Unfortunately, it's like any field, personal change, ladies and gentlemen, where whenever you get successful, you get these little trolls that will come out that will they will get jealous, they'll get scared, they'll try and pull the rug out, and they won't come at your face with it. They'll do it behind the scenes, or they'll just hide behind social media. And social media is amazing for feeling connected with people. It's amazing for marketing to people, but it's also a way for cowards to just hide and dwell in there like little trolls, feeling that because it's not a real world interaction face to face, they can get away with saying this, that, and the devil knows what. And everyone is 10 foot tall on the internet, and everyone is 300 pounds of ripped steel and sex appeal with huge muscles. What I'm trying to say is everyone thinks they're a tough guy over the internet, but tend to not say boo to a ghost when you call them out in the real world. So stop being a mark, stop being a little bitch, stop thinking that you're original. You're not original. The only thing that you are remotely original at, including myself, is the style in which I bring. So people are like, oh look, that's great, you did a little bit of this, little bit of that, little bit of that. Did you create this? No, I didn't create it. No, neither did anyone else that's around now. I didn't create it either. I just filtered it through my experiences, and my style was what makes it unique. And oftentimes when I'm interviewed, when I do a talk at an expo, when I do a talk at a conference, it's the most amazing thing that happens is people come up to me like, you are so different. Luke, you're so different from everyone else is here. I might be using the same techniques and telling people I'm using the techniques and giving credit to people's techniques that I'm using at the same time. Yet, and other people mostly don't. Yet people say, you are so different. Why am I different? Because my style is different. The vehicle, the vessel that I use to use these techniques, to communicate these techniques to the world is different. I'm not afraid to be me. I'm not trying to be Mike Mandel. I'm not trying to be Justin Trant or whoever else is out there. Being me. And yeah, I have influence from these people and I will use it. Most of these people I've paid money to, which is the funny thing, to learn their skills. And then they get upset and scared when I use their skills and give them credit. That's where I learned it from, rather than pretending that I invented it, as they did. And no, I'm not talking about Mike Mandel. Mike Mandel's a good guy, as far as I know. But guys, stop being little bitches. Stop thinking you're original. Stop thinking you've recreated a wheel. Stop having this scarcity mindset that there's only one piece of pie that we all have. Develop a fucking style. Develop a vessel. So when you do your conferences, when you're at your expo, whatever field that you're in, people are like, wow, we've had all these insurance brokers in here today talking about X, Y, or Z. But you're so different. Or we've had all these other magicians in here today doing the free card Monty, but you're so different. We've had all these other speakers here today talking about motivation, but you're so different. It's not about the information that makes me different. It's about the style. It's about the whole package, what I bring. That's the only thing about me that is any different, is I'm not afraid to be me. I'm not trying to be anyone else. Yes, I am absorbing what works, and I'm testing that shit out in the real world, and I disregard a lot of the shit, and there is a lot of the shit out there that does not work. Developing and refining my skills in the change work field. So ladies and gentlemen, don't worry about being original. Don't worry about what technique you have to learn. Develop a style that's unique to you. Yeah, it may be influenced by other people, but it's you, it's your voice, it's your language, it's the words you'd use with your friends, but hey, you're using them somehow, you're crowbarring them into your talk. Be you, be real when you're out there. Develop your style over substance. Because you'll get to a point where it won't even matter what technique you do. Even if you just make up a technique on the spot, it will work because of your style, because of your character, because of your charisma, because of your charm, because of your presence. It will get to a point where you'll almost do anything and it will work for people, versus this magical golden box that if you use this magical golden box, it will change everybody all of the time, 100% of the time. No, it doesn't. It's bullshit. Nothing works for everyone all the time. So next time you're going to do another course, think about it. Think about, hey, where did they get this from? Where did they get this from? And do I already know this stuff? Next time you think of marking out and thinking you're so great, so special, that you develop something, pull your head out of your ass and realise that you took it from someone else. And yeah, maybe you put a full stop on the end of it. Maybe you add an extra word here or there. Maybe you combined a couple of modalities, but you didn't create shit. Not really, if you're honest with yourself. And yeah, you may have the scarcity mindset, and maybe you won't want to admit it, and maybe you'll be an internet tough guy. But in the back of your mind, you know you didn't really create shit. If you know face to face with someone, you wouldn't really be able to explain that where you created this all completely, because you didn't live in a vacuum. You didn't live in a cave away from society from the ages of 0 until now, and suddenly this idea popped into your mind. No, you got it from someone. Just like the Verve, who covered the song Bittersweet Symphony. Now, whether you believe the Verve, which is a British band, they said they created the song, they created the riff. The Rolling Stones came along and said, actually, no, this is a song, and the name escapes me what the song is, that we wrote in the 60s. You heard our song, and yeah, you added different words to it, but you ripped us off. Now, whether the Verve did rip off the Rolling Stones, or they just heard that beat 10, 20 years prior, and it just stuck in the back of Richard Ashcroft's head, the leader of the band, and he thought, oh, you know what, this is a great riff, let me put some words to this. Who really knows? Who knows if people are lying, or who knows if people just didn't realize they consciously are using someone else's work. We're all consciously or unconsciously using someone else's work. We ain't creating anything that's new. Stop being a fucking mark. Stop being the person that at the carnival back in the turn of the century, they would draw an X on you that would mark you out, that would say this person's easily conned, easily manipulated, because they're a fucking idiot. Please don't be that person. Think for yourself. Get your head out of your ass. Don't be a mark. Realize you ain't original. You didn't recreate anything. But all you did is you have a style, and you can make that style your own, and you can do the best work that you can with that style. And don't live in a scarcity mindset. There is enough pie for everyone to work, for everyone to make the money that they are worth, and for everyone to get the help that they need. Just get your head out of your own fucking ass. I've been Hypnopunk. This has been another episode of Unstuck with Hypnopunk. If you've enjoyed today's podcast, I put together a very special little ebook for you called 5 Ways How to Become Unstuck in Your Health. If you'd like a copy of that, then shoot me an email at mail, M-A-I-L, at lukenosis.com and request that. And also, if you've got any hate mail for me, you can send it there, or better, we can meet up face to face and you can say it to my face and not be a internet tough guy. Always believe.